70-year-old man says an interaction he had with Kuna police officers last year was, quote, humiliating and violated his constitutional rights. So he filed a lawsuit against Ada County and the Ada County Sheriff's Office, who provides contract policing for the city of Kuna. This week, the county settled that lawsuit for $250,000 and a promise to deliver more training to deputies. Aspen Shumpert joins us in the studio to tell us more about that day and the man's decision to sue.
Andrea, Mick Heikkola sat down to speak with us, his lawyer sharing the security footage from that day. It was an incident that Heikkola and his lawyer tell us should never have happened.
They can't treat everybody like a criminal, and they did me, and I'm sure they've done other people too, and I want that to stop.
Mick Heikkola has called Kuna home for the past 35 years. He's always considered himself a law-abiding citizen. On an afternoon in January of 2023, he took outdated prescriptions to his local police department to properly dispose. Before going into the station, he stops and looks at police cars parked next to him, claiming they caught his eye and he was curious.
I noticed the second one was running. The SUV next to him was running, the police car. So I walked up to the window thinking maybe I can have a conversation with a cop and see what all these electronics, because they've got to stack electronics on their dash.
You can see him with a paper bag with prescriptions in hand. Moments later, an unmarked car pulls into the lot. An interaction Heikkola says scared him.
A guy jumped out, plainclothes person jumped out, and he started yelling at me.
Asking what Heikkola was doing looking in the cars.
I gave him an FU and turned around and walked off because I had no idea who he was. He didn't identify himself as a policeman or anything. Thought he was just a psycho citizen or something out of control.
Heikkola goes into the station. A group of officers walk past him and go outside. They're seen examining the police cars. Then Heikkola leaves the building. Officers follow him out, and that's when Heikkola learned the man was a plainclothed officer.
Put my hand in my pocket. It was middle of January, cold. I pulled him out for a second, put him back in, and I said no, because I knew they didn't have any authority over me. I hadn't done anything wrong. They immediately grabbed me, pinned my arms behind my back, and threw me into a rail. If they hadn't had a hold of my arms when they threw me against the rail, I would have went overhead first.
Heikkola says he was not read his Miranda rights and officers weren't answering his questions. Additionally, he'd had back surgery a few months prior, and the force the 7 deputies used when they threw him against the railing during his arrest caused him to soil himself. Eventually, officers told Heikkola he was under arrest for obstruction. They transported him to Ada County Jail, where Heikkola says things got even worse.
I said, I've messed myself. I need to get into a bathroom, clean myself up. Another 4 hours or 4.5 hours I had to sit in it. I didn't get a phone call for about 4.5 hours.
He says he's lost trust in police and that it's taken a toll on him and his family.
It was all emotional. It was the depression, the embarrassment, the humiliation, the people that called me and asking me about it, my friends and stuff that had seen it. And that was the worst part. That was the worst part of it.
KTVB reached out to Ada County about the incident. In a statement, Sheriff Matt Clifford says, "This wasn't our best day." He says they interact with hundreds of different people daily and that most of these interactions go well. Occasionally we fumble and miss the mark. But he added, for anyone to claim we are trampling on someone's constitutional rights simply isn't true. Something Heikkola doesn't agree with.
My rights have been violated. There's nothing more important as citizens to have these civil rights that we have. And we need to stand up for our rights. I could become an activist now. They made me an activist.
The obstruction charges against Heikkola were dropped last August. A year after the incident is when Heikkola filed a lawsuit, which just came to rest this week. Along with the settlement, Ada County also agreed to put their officers through additional scenario-based training. Andrea.
All right, thank you, Aspen, for that update.